Well, what's going on, man? Excited to see you again.
You
I
too, man.
I think it's nuts. How long have we known each other now for? 'Cause it's not that long. Like what is it, 10 months maybe?
Yeah, I
Was it
mean,
June?
I think I started messaging your buddy Hunter a long time ago, like, you know, maybe even like towards the end of the year of like 2024.
Okay.
But then I started like really getting back in and transitioning from my other business into full-time real estate. Again, because I have been licensed since like 2019, but I was, doing university still, like hard to kind of do business as a real estate agent in Vegas when you're over there in college in another state. So, I just started like, getting a lot more interest into it. Um, and just seeing the opportunities, knowing my skill and what I'm good at. And so I started messaging, Hunter. He was giving a lot of good value. And then I obviously saw you. Um, and so I guess that was maybe January, February-ish of last year that I really started to like get in. And I would go to a couple of your free classes that you'd have at your Obsidian group over
Mhm.
there. And you guys were so nice to let me in to see those. And I think I was like the only person on like the Zoom because you just had a Zoom for some reason recording like your in-person class. So that's how I really got interested and into it to just gain the knowledge and learn like my place in all of it and how I can see myself succeeding. And then I, kept on talking to you.
For sure. When we first connected, what did your business look like?
So in the beginning, like, well, way beginning, that was back in like 2019. I did close a deal, but it took me like 8 months to do it. Stopped all that because, obviously COVID hit and then being in university. So I didn't really touch it that much until probably like beginning-ish of last year. But you know how long it takes to get a deal. It takes like, as soon as you talk to somebody today, it could be like 3 to 6 months down the line if you're lucky that they actually close, right? So last year, I had 5 deals closed, all in all. With prospecting with you and what you taught me helped a lot with that too. Like really just getting in the flow of what the day to day should look like, like prospecting wise and what I should be doing every day. So 4 of those 5 were buyers. One of them was a listing. And they all came from 3 different ways: door knocking, open houses, and cold calling. I want to say 3 of them were from open houses. The listing was from the cold call. Um, and then, they even chose me to use me instead of their own sister, which was the seller's like sister, who was an agent.
Nice.
Yeah, so but again, I did that because I learned how to be provide more value to a client, than somebody else. Plus, friends and business don't mix kind of thing. Family and business can be weird too. So I guess that helps a lot as well. But yeah, total sales volume, I did about 2 million, a little over that. And average price ranges on that was the listing, which was a condo, is 275K was the final sale price. So all the way to single family residential new build, which was 525K. So
Okay.
275 to 525K on the price points of the homes. Um, and yeah, that's that. So 5 deals last year, just kind of getting back into the zone. And then now that I'm full time, it's, all that prospecting last year, doing the open houses that we've talked about, doing that challenge as well with the 100 days. It got me 4 deals closed in January. And then like total so far, and it's not even 25% of the year, as you know, it's only March today. It's been about 7 deals closed, and I have 2 in escrow closing next week. So
There we go. So you'll be at
yeah,
9 closed before the quarter. Before the quarter's
yeah, I'll
over.
have
So
I'll have
3 months.
9 closed in Q1 of this year, and that's already 3.45 million in total volume for the sales. So that and my price range has gone up too. You know how I said last year was like 275 to 525. Now it's 430K to about 650K.
Nice. So your average is in the mid fives then now.
Yeah, it's about almost 500K. But and I'm talking to people. like older folks now, and they're like not just first time home buyers, they're like 750K I'm show on showings. And then I have another guy who I'm showing on Wednesday, 850K, price point. So my price point is just growing with the experience that I'm getting just from doing so many open houses and the way that I prospect.
Nice. What do you feel like you learned from the group, if anything?
Consistency probably is the biggest thing. Most agents that everybody knows is they quit right away, like first year. Even who I'm hiring on my team because I'm trying to also build a team. They are having struggles a lot and thoughts of if this is for them. But every good realtor that ever makes it past the 1 year mark, they always face that. It's everybody hits the same crossroads no matter who you are. So you get to choose, how consistent do I want to be, or do I want to keep it at a low pace and not really reach, 10 to 20 to 30 deals. I have a goal this year of 30 deals. I think I'll easily surpass that with the pace that I'm going. And I estimate with the pace I'm going, I should have 50 deals. And that's all because of consistency. So the biggest thing I've learned just from this group was the importance of consistency. And not only that, but knowing that you have to have about 6 to 8 touches before you even can go on like a showing, you know, and they say that to close a deal. But to even get on a showing in the first place, you just have to have experience and a lot of follow-ups, a lot of touches to even get somebody even remotely interested enough to see you as their guy. It's not easy.
Yeah. So I think when we got started with everything, I think it was like June or July, because I remember it being over the summertime. So, I mean,
Mhm.
from June till December, you closed those five, or was it just across the whole 12 months last
Yeah,
year?
about June, like about May till the end of
Mhm.
year, because I
You
was
closed the
just
five.
get yeah, like I said, I started really going aggressively full time at December of 2024. That's when I started getting in touch with you guys, and I was doing open houses, not as often as I should have, probably like once every 2 weeks or like once a month maybe. And then slowly doing more cold calling, more focused on cold calling. So I was continuously doing that. And I realized, what you helped me to realize really was the open house is the main thing every single day or week that you could do it as much as possible. And then just circle all the other stuff around that, like door knocking, like, cold calling, circle that around that. So once I started really making the open house the core of the focus of that week specifically, that's when I really started to understand, okay, I can make everything about this open house and just have as many people come to this open house as possible and just manage that. I've got so many people coming in from my prospecting from the open houses now that I have to, leave some people and finish off a conversation a lot quicker than I want to.
Mhm.
And then just get a number real quick and then just introduce myself right away to the next family so I don't lose, the possible prospects that come in and just say thank you because they see that I'm busy with the first person that walked in.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's
Hard
crazy
to,
to think about, like, June essentially to December, where we worked together. You do five last year. This year, you've already done nine. So this year, you've already almost doubled what you did the entire year last year.
Mhm.
And what is like, so how
It's
many
only
buyers do
March.
you, yeah, and it's not even, March isn't even over yet. How many buyers and how many sellers are you working with right now?
Like that are not currently pending or like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like people that pre approvals, listings coming up, or
Hmm.
listings signed.
Hmm. So I have two listings coming up right now, and I've just only met those two in the last 2 weeks, just from like the open house that I did. And I just do I do the flyers too as well. But yeah, so far the buyers this year, I closed on one listing in January, and then I helped about 5 buyers. Most of my business is buyer focused.
Yep.
Obviously I just am that way. I'm just geared towards that. And then if they need to sell to buy, then I'll get a listing. So most of it is always just going to be buyer focused. Um, so really, it's mostly been buyers. I want to say like 5 or 6 of them have been buyers. Off the top of my head, I can't tell. And then these, upcoming 3 that are closing as well. So
That's
sales.
awesome. So,
Yeah, it's good.
well, and the cool thing too is like, so my business, right, when I first started doing all the same thing, it was heavily buyers. Like when I did those 36 in those 6 months from open houses, I think like three or four were listings. And the
Mm.
31, 32 of them were buyers.
Yeah.
But then like now my business this year, I'm going to do probably 60 to 70 personally, and probably 40 plus of those will be listings. So
Hmm.
like your business does flip
Right.
flop. And like what's crazy, I was just talking to one of my mentors earlier today. It was pretty much 3 years on the dot this month. I was applying for other
Mhm.
jobs. So like it's crazy how fast your life can, essentially change. It's crazy how fast, like talking like when we first met to now what you're doing, how fast
Yeah.
stuff has changed. Because you talk to people where like I mean, even me, like I'd been in the business for 2.5, 3 years, and like I didn't have
Mhm.
really any momentum until I finally got into the right circles, right people, everything started to click. So like
Yeah.
I know for you, you've had your license for a while, but it's not like you're performing from 2019 till this
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
year.
No, not
Like
at
this
all.
last year was really your first year in a sense.
In a way, yeah. And I just picked up so quickly, but absolutely with what you guys have taught me with I just needed a place to because I've known sales. I understood sales because I used to do door to door with back in 2020. But I just really needed a place and an understanding of how the chess pieces move on the board of real estate. And then once I figured that out, now it's just like constant business for me because I just match that with the consistency and knowing what goes where and when, how to talk to some specific person versus another, in what kind of situation when they tell me that they're, you know, divorcing or when they're just a first-time home buyer, like just the difference of conversation between not only those two, but everything in between and outside. It you just become you can really help people and even helping with off-market opportunities too. Just doing the prospecting itself is probably the most important thing because that actually is a real value add that I have that other agents don't. So when people tell me, hey, I have a realtor already, I'm like, oh, are they only sending you stuff that's actively on the market right now? And I'm like, okay, the reason why people choose me is because even though they already had a realtor, is because I can help with those off-market opportunities because I actually do the work in this neighborhood.
Yep.
So that's really helped me with, becoming more of a successful realtor. I want to almost say I would have to check for sure because I can't think of it off the top, but with those 9 deals I've had this year, I want to say over half of those, over, definitely over four of them were they had an agent before me and they chose me instead after that. Like they would
Impressive.
would come out of their buyer
Yeah.
broker group with that other agent just to go with me because of the opportunities that I presented them, the aggressive approach that I have of following up and prospecting and just more.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I think one of the
Fun.
things too that like you probably don't. I mean, maybe you give yourself the credit for this, but I think maybe you don't. And I think what makes you stand out compared to other people is one, you showed up to every single call, and
Hmm.
then you asked a shit ton of questions.
Yeah.
And then everything that I taught or was talking about, you implemented and you implemented quick. Like you didn't wait. It wasn't like, let me go ask 10 million questions as to how to do it after. Like you asked questions, and rightfully so, everyone has questions, but you went and implemented. And like, so it was like, okay, Peyson says to do this today. Cool. This is what I'm doing. And you just
Yeah.
did that like clockwork. And then you asked, everyone that was within the group, like, hey, what are you guys doing? How's this working? Like you were constantly involved in
Mhm.
doing, just really making sure that you were soaking up everything you could. And now it makes sense, like why you've done 9 deals this
Yeah.
year, plus multiple more pending. So I think like a testament to you and like what you've been able to do. Because a lot of people, right, they get the info, but then like they don't use
Yeah.
the info. So then it's like you can't grow if you don't use the info. You like
Mhm.
took it and you didn't just run with it, like you full on sprinted
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, I think, it's maybe a lot of people just get worried about the work, but the most important thing, if I could tell old me, realtor, I would be doing this full time and have, maybe even just flown back during days in college just to come back and do this full time because prospecting, you cannot stop it. If you, as soon as last year, I stopped it, and that's why I had a very slow October, November it was the slowest months. If you remember when I was in the group, I was really struggling those months, but I had pending and closings, but I didn't have new business. So all of December, I was like, I'm not like 90% of my day has to be prospecting if I want January and February and March to look good, because that starts now. Remember, who you talk to today for
It's
everybody
90 to
watching,
120
it's
days.
yes, it's if 6 months if you're lucky, 3 months if they're ready to go. And if it's already 1 month, then they probably already have an agent and you're gonna have to like take them out of that. So if you can, if depending on the loyalty situation. So it's tough, but you just really taught me to be consistent. Like I said in the beginning, as long as I knew, I always had the drive, so that's why I followed it. That was kind of on my side. I had the drive, and combined with your knowledge, I just needed to know what you know, and now I can just absolutely run with it and
Yeah.
have infinite success. So that really, really sped up my learning curve instead of having to learn the hard way. And I think that alone just makes it so much more worth it,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it's time, time is what the real save, you really need to save time. I have
Right.
no
Well, that's
problem.
what I think I always think about it, and I know everyone does this, right? But like I always think about like, man, I had almost 3 years of like just figuring shit out. What if I could have skipped those 3 years and
Yeah,
just gone straight to knowing this stuff? I mean, I'm gonna do 300 units this year. What if I could have done 300 units 3 years ago, and this year I could be pacing for 1,000 units? So like,
yeah.
I think like being able to like skip through stuff is like one of the best things you
Yeah.
could do, and it's people's time
I think
and
just how
knowledge.
big, yeah, how big you think and how big the guys that you introduced me to think. I don't even know. Like I never thought of it that way because I wasn't introduced to real estate, and it would have taken me a lot longer had I not been in the group to be super successful. So, I mean, you can't buy back time, but you can make money back. So that right alone is worth it. And you know me, like I used to do coachings myself and teach people other stuff outside of real estate. So I get it that it's what that's worth it to me. I had no problem joining that and being a part of that because I know that you're just going to multiply it 10x or 100x on the back end with what you know and earlier in life.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Well, dude, it's been sick seeing what you've done. It's been sick seeing what the other guys have done. And I
mhm,
appreciate you being on and keep crushing it. Like I want to see for sure you end up with that 50 plus units this year.
I hope so. I think I will. Just got to keep on prospecting every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you will. I mean, you're already at nine. Like you need it sounds like yeah, you're probably right on pace with it. So I think that you'll end up right around that 50 mark, which is incredible. Because like this year
Yeah.
is gonna be like your first full run year. Like this is gonna be your
Mhm.
first full year where you actually know what you're doing. You're doing the full system, you have everything dialed in. So your first full
Execution.
run year to do 50 is
Mhm.
nuts.
Yeah. And we'll see. At the end of the year, we'll check back and see what I did. So
Yeah, we're
that's
gonna have to.
it's going to speed
We'll,
up big time too.
it does. It just it's a dude, it's momentum. It's a snowball.
Hmm.
It's a total snowball. So
Yeah.
we'll stick, man. I appreciate you being on. Thank you so much. And we'll have to keep in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Peyson. Appreciate everything you do.